AAF.com. The Alliance draft continues. We're here until every team has selected 4 quarterbacks, and we are halfway through. The San Antonio Commanders are on the clock as the order here in round 3 flips from round 2, and it'll be the same order in rounds 3 and 4. So San Antonio will open round 3, and the Commanders will open round 4. 3 minutes on the clock for each pick. These are some of the images from the opening 2 rounds. Luminaries across college, NFL football, all across the football world. What a night it's been here in Las Vegas so far, and we are not nearly done. Brent Stover alongside Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, Super Bowl champion quarterback Trent Dilfer, Jason Fisher with us, Dana Jacobson as well. And San Antonio has made the first selection of the 3rd round as we check in with Hines Ward.
We got to get a refill. With the first pick of the 3rd round, San Antonio selects Logan Woodside.
Logan Woodside to San Antonio.
Well, I tell you what, I wonder what San Antonio is going to do with the football. I mean, they've got 3 guys, big, strong guys that can play inside the pocket and throw the football down the field. I mean, Logan Woodside, over 10,000 passing yards, 93 touchdowns in college. But you see a mold here, right? You have a good sense of what they're going to do. They've got some young guys. They got Christian Hackenberg, a great guy to develop. I look forward to watching these guys develop in that system.
There have been some tremendous, prolific quarterbacks come out of the MAC, and he certainly played in a really fun, wide-open offense there in Toledo. So Logan Woodside is the next selection. And up next on the clock is Mike Riley, who's been all over the place, most recently for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Recruited your son, obviously.
Yes, something I know very well.
To Nebraska. Daryl Moose Johnston, one of the football luminaries we keep talking about, is the GM of this team. And Memphis has made their selection here. Only 30 seconds in. Round number 3, pick number 2. And let's check in with Hines.
And with the second pick of the 3rd round, Memphis selects Brandon Silvers.
So Memphis, in the second pick of the 3rd round, takes Brandon Silvers.
This guy jumped off as a passer to me watching his tape and following his career. Really good senior film. Just a guy that understands, like Kurt did growing up, passing the football, doing all the little things to complete the ball to somebody that's a better athlete than you, so they can go, they can go do all the work.
Well, and I just messed that up, didn't I? I thought San Antonio, but this was Memphis that picked Troy Cook and Hackenberg and now Silvers. And as I said, 3 guys that can drop back and throw the football. They're going to throw it all over the yard. It's going to be fun to watch.
Okay, let's meet the QB.
Brandon Silvers, Troy University. I'm 24 years old. My biggest strength as a quarterback is my accuracy. If I had to pick a weakness in my game, it would be snaps from under center. In college, we were totally spread shotgun. My style of quarterback, in one word, it'd be pocket passer. I'm excited about the Alliance because it's another opportunity to compete on a high level. It's one step closer to fulfilling my dreams playing in the NFL.
Brandon Silvers is 24. He's 6'2", 220. Certainly looks like the prototypical guy.
He does. And, you know, funny thing, you have a draft like this, and a lot of people are always going to ask, well, how come it didn't work somewhere else for some of these guys? And you know, playing the quarterback position, I've always said so often you need a guy that sees the game like you see it. You know, Mike Martz is down here and going to be coaching the San Diego team. And one of the blessings I had in coming into the league with a guy like that, we saw the game the same way. The way he wanted to play the game fit my skill set. And I know all these young guys that are going to get another opportunity are hoping for that exact thing. Give me a coach that sees the game, that calls the game, that develops the game like I see it, and that's where these guys are going to excel.
Amen, brother.
So Brandon Silvers, second pick of the third round of Memphis. Salt Lake has their third round pick in, and let's get the selection from Hines.
And with the third pick of the third round, Salt Lake selects Austin Allen.
Austin Allen had a really nice career there at Arkansas, guys, out of the SEC. His dad was a coach. A brother was a quarterback, Brandon Allen, who actually Austin succeeded Brandon as the quarterback there at Arkansas. Trent.
You want to talk about Jim Rat, another kid we had at 17 years old in the Elite 11, and a guy that you want in your locker room. You also want him throwing the football on game day, but you want him in your locker room. You're better when this kid's on the field, loves football. Like I said, loves it more than what it brings him. He's going to dive into the journey, the process. And again, now we're talking third, fourth guys on the roster. You better check your ego at the door. You better come in and be a team-centric guy, be all about helping this build the league, build this team. Austin Allen's a kid that will do that day one.
2-year starter for the Hogs, and let's meet him.
Austin Allen, University of Arkansas, 24. My greatest strength as a quarterback is my timing and ball placement. Every time I throw it, I usually know exactly where it's going to go. If I had to pick a weakness in my game, it would be I'm a little bit of a gunslinger. It's something I'm working on, but a little careless sometimes. People would be surprised to know that I am pretty good at ping pong. I won a lot of money at Tampa betting some guys in ping pong. I'm a guy that's going to go out there and play 100% every single play and really give it my all no matter what. I want to play in the Alliance because I love football. I don't want to give it up, and I want to keep playing as long as I can.
And when Trent and I were talking about the draft coming in, we were talking about Austin Allen, and I said, he's a gunslinger. My comparison in the NFL was Ryan Fitzmagic, right? Fitzpatrick is a guy that believes he can make every throw, every time out. He's going to go out and compete. He's tough, willing to take a hit, and lead by example out there on the football field. He's going to be great for that team.
And my response was, Ryan can be Fitzmagic, and he can also be Fitztragic because he writes a lot of checks his body can't cash. And I think you heard Austin say that too. Going back to when he was in high school, he always thinks he can make the play. And once he learns discretion and becomes a completion guy, I think he's got a chance to play a long time.
Another Allen who's in the NFL, who's doing some things in Buffalo right now, who I think you'd qualify as a gunslinger, is Josh Allen. And so Austin Allen has that same type of pedigree. Let's check in with Dana Jacobson.
All right, Brent, thank you. You know, we talked about it earlier, this idea that here with the Alliance, it's about the players and taking care of them both on and off the field. And one player in particular who's had a lot of experience in the NFL, BJ Daniels, knows that when it comes to football, it's that off the field, that after football, that matters just as much as the game.
There's been things that have happened in my life that's actually made me put football into perspective. You know, my little sister, at the age of 22, was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer, and a whole complete year later, she was 100% completely cured. So, you know, being cut from a team or spending 2 to 3 months in limbo is something that I used to harp on and worry about, but, you know, those are things that, you know, necessarily wouldn't even faze me anymore. I love the game of football. You know, it's been a great ride and story for me. I've, you know, been to 3 Super Bowls. I had the blessing to win 1. But it's not that football is my entire life. It's just a part of the life that I'm enjoying. So as long as I'm healthy and as long as I'm okay, then, you know, I can see myself doing this for a while.
Great perspective, and obviously that experience, we've heard so many coaches talk about how much it means to have that for them on the field. BJ Daniels will bring it to the Salt Lake Stallions, their 2nd round pick here in this inaugural draft. Brent?
Dana, thanks. And you guys have both talked about having that veteran presence in the locker room, and he's going to be a perfect guy for that. Good guy on and off the field.
Perspective. It's so huge. You're so much different at 26 than you are 22 or 28 than you are 25. You really don't figure anything out until what, you're 35, 40. I don't know if I've figured anything out yet. But as a quarterback, especially, a lot of times people say, Kurt and I were talking about this, that's who they are. No, that's who they were. They were something. And then life gives them perspective. Right. And something clicks a lot of times, and they become something different. I think that's one of the gifts of the Alliance. It's going to allow these kids that have different perspective now, and they're going to be better than they were both on and off the football field.
We talk so much about how the Alliance is like my story. That's who I was. Yeah. When I came out of college, I wasn't nearly the same person or player when I got back into the NFL at 27 years old. And it's some of those things, working in a grocery store, going through what BJ went through with his family. You learn perspective. And as much as you love football, it's not, you don't ride, highs and lows and up and down with an interception or a bad game, and it brings something completely different to the team.
Well, the selection is in the third round for the Atlanta Legends. Here's Hines Ward.
And with the fourth pick of the third round, Atlanta selects Peter Pujols.
Peter Pujols, guys. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of this guy, but they go out and get a couple of guys from the SEC, Aaron Murray and Matt Sims, and now maybe take a little bit of a flyer with Peter Pujols.
Well, a little bit of a flyer because a lot of people don't know about him, played it at a smaller school, but I mean, as a 4-year captain here, threw for over 11,500 yards, rushed for 1,700. I mean, this is a guy that has, a great background of production, throwing the football and making plays with his legs. Really liked this guy on film. Didn't know not much about him until I watched the film. A couple stars by his name because I really thought this guy could be someone that surprised people.
My notes, great pocket presence, nice timing, maybe lacks some power, but that 4-year captain, that's a big deal when you're building a league and a team.
Yep.
Okay, good point. Let's meet the QB.
Peter Pujols. I played at College of the Holy Cross, and I'm 23 years old. Currently, I'm working out for football, and I'm also a part-time basketball coach and helping out with my grade school football program. The throw I make the best is over the middle. The throw I struggle with is a deep ball. I don't know. I wouldn't say I even struggle with that. People would be surprised to know that I can play the piano. I just memorize songs from YouTube. I want to get on the field, I want to compete, and I want to win games.
Peter Pujols, and now it's Orlando up next here in round number 3. Their pick is in. Here's Hines.
And with the fifth pick of the third round, Orlando selects Austin Appleby.
Austin Appleby,
There's your guy, Trent.
How about it, Trent?
I figured this one was coming. Austin's a guy, if you spend 5 minutes with him, you're going to fall in love with him. You're going to fall in love with his competitive temperament, his football IQ. Look at the profile of these quarterbacks. Big, strong, physical guys that know a lot of football, that I'll wear this statement out, that are extensions of the coaching staff.
And what I said when I watched him on film, you see the big body, better athlete,
really good
than you expected him to be when you watched him on tape. Now, I think he's got some room to grow as a passer,
no doubt,
to be more pure of a passer, but once again, exactly what this league is all about, but a great guy to have in the huddle in the locker room.
Played at Purdue and then played at Florida after that. Let's meet him.
Austin Appleby. I'm from Canton, Ohio. Went to the University of Florida, and I'm 25. My greatest strength as a quarterback is my mind. Maybe not the prettiest, the flashiest arm. Don't necessarily maybe spin it the tightest, but I find a way to play at a high level. My favorite throw is the one that gets us in the end zone and scores touchdowns. I haven't given up on the dream to play professional football because I know how much I have left in the tank. I know what kind of quarterback I am. I'm fighting every single day to earn the opportunity to show what I've got and continue to give myself the opportunity to achieve my ultimate goal of being a quarterback in the NFL.
I really believe about quarterbacking is that your primary goal, your number one goal, is to make everybody else around you better.
I tell you what, I love what he said. He said, I find a way. It might not look the prettiest in a business oftentimes where we like the stuff that looks pretty.
No doubt.
At the end of the day, it's can you be productive? Can you find a way?
Can you make everybody else around you better? Can you get the most out of them? When he went from Purdue to Florida, it was a tough situation. He got the most of the guys on that football team.
And again, Steve Spurrier, the head coach for Orlando, making that pick. Wasn't able to be here, just had back surgery, but his quarterbacks coach David Reeves in there as well as GM Tim Ruskell. So the Arizona Hotshots are on the clock up next with GM Phil Savage, head coach Rick Neuheisel. They've already made a couple of picks, obviously in Trevor Knight and then John Wolford out of Wake Forest. It'll be interesting to see which direction they go in round 3.
Well, we're right. We talked about these two guys being mobile guys that you can get on the run, you can do some of the RPO stuff with. Do they stay with that mold here in the third round?
All right, Rick's pick is in, and let's go to Hines.
With the sixth pick of the third round, Arizona selects Quinn McQuarrie.
Quinn McQuarrie, guys. Okay, so a little bit off the radar guy here in round 3 out of Montana Tech, 6'3", 200. Transferred from Montana State in 2015. Pretty good numbers in his senior year, nearly 3,000 yards and 23 passing touchdowns.
Well, and I resonate a little bit with Quinn because he had 16 starts in his college career. You know, I only got to start 1 year in college, and so often that becomes the book on you, right? Why did you only start 1 year? Can you not play? What's the situation there? So I love this opportunity for him to get a chance to show, hey, I only got a small sample size, but I can still play the game.
Trent, I got to ask a tough question for you.
Yeah.
Zach Mettenberger
Yeah.
is still out there, and a guy like Quinn McQuarrie goes, and Mettenberger is still there. What are your thoughts?
It's tough. You know, Zach has started 10 games in the NFL. Like you said, he's got some pelts on the wall. He's been part of the process of becoming a pro. But in the same token, he hasn't been that productive while that book's been written on him. So I think you can look at it two ways. Personally, I like Mettenberger in a situation like this because he can help everybody else in the room grow. But sometimes you just know the book's been written on a guy and you're willing to go elsewhere to see what the ceiling is on some of these other players.
All right, Birmingham is up next. Their pick is in. Here's Heinz Ward.
With the seventh pick of the third round, Birmingham selects Scott Tolzien.
Well, you say pelts on the wall. Scott Tolzien has definitely got some reps in the National Football League, the guy out of Wisconsin, most notably with the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, yeah, he was also with the Packers. James Jones worked with me at the network, and so I had a chance to talk to him. I said, okay, tell me about this guy. What did you love about him? He said, great team guy, and he was always prepared. He is going to be the guy that leads the way in how to prepare to win, come game day. He's a guy I liked on film. He can make those second-level throws. I think he needs to get a little more polished in his every down accuracy. But once again, a guy that's been there, a guy that can make big-time throws, and I love that idea. Preparation. You never had to worry about that guy. He was always going to be ready.
And that preparation exhibits itself in how he can play on time. Went to 49er practices when he was with the Niners. The ball's out early. That anticipatory accuracy that very few have, he has.
10 games in the NFL for the 31-year-old Tolzien, 4 starts. Let's meet the QB.
Scott Tolzien, University of Wisconsin, 31 years old. This might sound elementary, but my goals are just to enjoy the game, and I'm realizing now at 31 years old that these opportunities are getting smaller, and I don't want to take that for granted. Played with the Chargers, did 2 years with the 49ers, 3 with the Packers, and 2 with the Colts. My last game was week 17 of last season. You realize it's very cutthroat. You're looking at less than 100 jobs in the world, but that's also, in a weird way, what you crave about it. I fought that uphill battle, but that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is it's been the greatest blessing of my life. Let's go. My greatest strength as a quarterback is my accuracy. I'm a veteran leader, someone that loves to play the game, and I'm fortunate that this opportunity arose with the Alliance League, so possibly get back in the NFL or simply just to play the game I love.
2 years ago, the Colts signed a 2-year, $3.5 million deal. So, to a certain extent, he's playing with house money and an opportunity to see what happens here.
I tell you what I like now is we're 3 rounds in, and you want to get drafted. Now you start looking around and go, okay, who else did we draft? Look at the competition that I'm going against, guys that have played and competed at the highest level, guys that were productive in college, and that's what excites me, because to me, this game is all about competition, and each one of these teams is going to have some great competition.
And I'm really excited about the next pick, because Coach Smart, every quarterback should be begging to be coached by Coach Smart. So you got to explain. I don't know if you know this, I was almost your backup in 2001. He called me for Seattle to see if I wanted to back you up, and it's one of the regrets in my career that I wasn't able to be trained by a guy like Mike Martz. And any quarterback, whoever this pick is going to have a fantastic opportunity to be coached by one of the true quarterback whisperers.
Mike Martz, his GM is Dave Bowler. Their pick is in. It's the final pick of the 3rd round for the San Diego Fleet. And here's Heinz.
And with the last pick of the 3rd round, San Diego selects Philip Nelson.
Interesting, guys. Philip Nelson out of Minnesota and then finished up at East Carolina.
Well, yeah, an interesting note, only 10 starts, but something to note that Coach Marta has coached in the NFLPA game the last couple years. He's had this guy in the game, so it's a guy that he's seen up close and personal within his system. So obviously he knew a little something more about Philip Nelson, and if he likes him in the system, I have a feeling he's going to do really, really well.
Well, think of Coach March's history with every quarterback he's had. He's recognized traits in them that maybe others didn't, and then pulled those out of them and developed them into very good quarterbacks. I think of Mark Bulger. People talked about Mark Bulger before.
You don't have to say Mark. You can think of Kurt Warner.
Well, we've talked about you a bunch. I'm thinking about Mark Bulger. Anybody he touches maximizes their ability.
All right, former 2012 Minnesota Mr. Football out of Mankato West High School, Philip Nelson. Let's get to know him.
Philip Nelson, East Carolina, 25. The team that drafts me is going to get a great quarterback, somebody that can lead the team, someone that's tough, someone that's going to deliver accurate footballs and win. People would be surprised to know that I have been in a commercial. Duke Hospital. I was a doctor. I admire quarterbacks who lead their team in pressure situations. I want to play in the Alliance because I love football. I know I can do it, and I'll do anything it takes to keep playing.
We wrap up the third round. San Diego takes Philip Nelson. Back in the second round, Memphis took Christian Hackenberg, and he's standing by with our Jason Fisher.
Christian, fans remember you from your time as an elite quarterback at Penn State. Now this league is all about fresh starts, redemption, new opportunities. What does this new opportunity mean for you here at the Alliance of American Football?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously it's everything at this point. I'm just excited to get an opportunity to go out and play again in an environment where that's the goal, is to get guys reps, get them a bunch of time, get them a bunch of experience. And ultimately there's a lot of guys in that building and locker room that are going to be in the same situation as me. So I think that's the cool part, is also being able to help other people ultimately reach their dreams as well. So, a lot of guys on the same mission. I'm really excited about that.
Absolutely. You're going to Memphis. Have you ever been to Memphis before?
No, it'll be my first time. So.
All right. What are you excited for? Barbecue?
Yeah, I love barbecue. So I'm excited about the barbecue. Do a little exploring. Heard it's a pretty cool town.
All right, cool. Well, they're excited to have you. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Guys, back to you. We got another round.
I love stories like Hackenberg. Isn't it all about redemption and second chances in life, and you're down but you're not quite out?
Well, and I love just the idea when everybody else thinks you can't do it. And I think so many of these stories are going to be that, like, oh, we don't think he can do it. We don't think he can make it. And first of all, the coaches, I think they relish that opportunity to take someone that someone else couldn't get the full potential out of and have that challenge in front of them. And these guys are hungry. And you know that. It's oftentimes you can get complacent when things are given to you. Nothing's been given to these guys. They're going to be hungry to want to go prove themselves.
Grit, the combination of passion and perseverance to reach a long-term goal. Yeah. Every one of these guys has this long-term goal to play in the National Football League. And a lot of times they have the passion, but they haven't learned the perseverance. And the hard knocks of football will teach you the perseverance. And whatever happens with these guys' career, I can guarantee you this league's not only going to give them a chance to develop on a professional football level, but as a human level, because they're learning the hard stuff of life. And that to me, that's the overarching theme, that every one of these kids will be better off because they've had a chance to go through this process.
Fourth and final round set to begin. Before we get there, let's check in with Dana.
All right, Brent, thank you. And I've got the Wizard of Odds, Kenny White, still with me. A few more things to get to. I love the prop bets. You know this. I've been telling you this the whole time. Real quickly here, an undefeated season. Is that even – come on.
Gonna be
the
tough.
odds cannot be good.
No, it's going to be tough because Bill Polian and Charlie Ebersol have done a great job of parity in the league.
Right.
So when you get 10 games, you think it'd be a little bit easier than the NFL, but no, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. I'd say 25-1 to go 10-0. So there's a little juice in there. You got to lay 30-1 to do it, and you get 20-1 if you do it.
More reason to watch. And we're looking now at the over/under on the win totals here. And you love Orlando.
I do. Orlando, I think, is the best team in the league. 6.5 wins. I'm going to charge you a premium $1.60 to go over 6.5. And the three bottom teams, they have some work to do. They got plenty of time. Salt Lake at 4.5, Atlanta 4, and Birmingham 4 wins.
It comes down to what the guys were just talking about, this hunger to win, the hunger to prove themselves. That's for individual players, that's for the teams. And then don't forget, you've got some of the most competitive coaches out there. Just because they're not in the NFL right now, they're here in the Alliance for a reason.
Oh, it's great to see. You can see the competitiveness in all of them out there in the draft room trying to get their guy. And the thing about this league is everybody's new. So we're not bringing back offensive lines that worked together for a couple of years now. They're all going to be learning. So that's the parity's great.
Yes, so much experience on the sidelines there with those coaching staffs, though, too. And so much experience in our booth. Brent, back to you.
No doubt about it. Trent Dilfer, a Super Bowl champion quarterback and a Hall of Fame quarterback. Super Bowl MVP, league MVP quarterback. Kurt Warner. All right, the fourth round has begun. First selection is in. First pick of the fourth round to San Antonio, and here's Hines.
And with the first pick of the fourth round, San Antonio selects Dalton Sturm.
Dalton Sturm, he's a local guy, played at UTSA, guys. This looks like one of those nice regional fits, and that's something Charlie Ebersol has talked about, is the opportunity to get fans as excited and juiced as possible, and that includes getting local guys.
Well, and what's more important for a fan base than to have names that they recognize, people that they know the past. And so, again, I thought that was a great move by the Alliance to say, hey, we're going to allocate guys from your area, whether that be college or pro teams they played for. So day one, there's going to be a roster full of people that when the people come to the stands, they go, oh, I remember that guy. I remember that guy. Oh, I watched that guy. Oh, this is going to be great to cheer on guys that we've cheered on in the past.
You've gotten to know the story of the quarterback of your local team. Yeah. And you're following UTSA. You're following this quarterback. You're curious about his journey. You're going to continue to track his journey as he goes and plays professional football.
Okay, with that, let's meet the QB.
My name is Dalton Sturm. I played at UTSA, and I am 23 years old. I'd have to say my greatest strength as a quarterback would probably be my accuracy, followed by my toughness. My style of play could probably best be described as a gunslinger. I just like to go out and make plays, and if nothing's there, I try to make something happen with my feet. What I'm going to bring to a team is going to be my toughness, my leadership ability, and my playmaking ability. I want to play in the Alliance because it's a great opportunity for me to be able to get some film and help develop this new and upcoming league. It's going to be a great opportunity.
Signed as a free agent this year with the Cowboys, then released. Former walk-on at UTSA. Earned a scholarship after he became the starter as a sophomore. And what a journey, Dalton Sturm, and that's what this is all about. The twists and the turns, the ups and the downs of this quarterback journey. Second pick of the fourth round. We are waiting. The Memphis Express, they are on the clock. And in Mike Singletary, obviously the head coach, it'll be interesting to see what he does. He took Troy Cook in the opening round, and then he went to Christian Hackenberg in round 2, and then he went with Brandon Silvers in round 3.
Well, you're seeing a theme there, Trent, right? A bunch of guys that can drop back and sling the ball, right? That they play from inside the pocket. They got the big arms, spread it out, and you can make all the throws on the football field. Have to assume that they're going to probably stay in that mold, so once again, the offense fits for all the guys they have.
Yeah, and you have guys on the board left that can do just what you're saying. Zach Mettenberger, obviously we've talked about him. 10 starts in the National Football League. Ideal elite stature in terms of size, weight, arm strength. Connor Jessup's a guy. Kevin O'Connell, one of the great offensive coaches in the NFL right now at the Washington Redskins, endorsed Connor Jessup, says it's just a numbers game, but this guy has the skill set to play in the National Football League. And then Justin Holman has an arm that will just make your eyes water. It's so big.
Well, Jessup is one of those guys that popped to me when I watched him on film. Tall, lengthy guy, good athlete, but can throw the ball as well.
That's the GM, Will Lewis, and their selection is in. Here's Hines.
And with the second pick of the fourth round, Memphis selects Zach Mettenberger.
Good for him, guys. Good for Zach Mettenberger. He's going to get a shot in this league with Memphis.
Well, it's a guy that can make all the throws. He is the prototypical pocket passer, right? He's got good balance, can make every throw. Once again, Ken Wisenon had him in Tennessee and really, really liked him. Felt like he could manage things at the line of scrimmage. Felt like he could get the ball out quick if he needed to. Just thought that he needed to get a little more experience and grow up a little bit in regards to preparation. learning how to prepare for the game, and this is going to be a great opportunity for him to do that.
14 games in the NFL. He started 10 of them. Things obviously didn't go well, but that is what this story is about. He's going to get a chance in Memphis, and let's meet Zach Mettenberger.
My name's Zach Mettenberger, went to LSU, 27 years old. I've been out of the league for 2 years. It's been 730 days since I've been waiting to play a football game again. Definitely been counting down and keeping count of all those days. Just want to get back to doing what I love. I'm a tough pocket passer who can get the job done. What I can bring to a team is resiliency and leadership. If I had to pick a weakness in my game, it'd probably be my mobility. I mean, you know, if you're born slow, you just kind of stay slow, I guess. Been salivating, waiting for another opportunity to play. Whether you're laying brick or working on Wall Street, you know, you gotta have a passion to be the best at what you do, and that's what's kept me going. 104 weeks, 730 days. You know, I've just been kind of biding my time and waiting, and this is the opportunity I've been waiting for.
He's going to get his chance to battle for a spot. 19-6 in 25 starts with LSU. We mentioned 10 career NFL starts, and he's with Jason Fisher.
Zach, how determined are you to prove to Memphis that they made a good pick with you?
You know, I'm not any more determined than I was beforehand. You know, obviously I need to go out there and show what I can do, and you know, I'm going to.
So you're going to battle. There's 4 quarterbacks in Memphis. What's your mindset going into training camp?
Every day's a battle. It's called life. You know, it's just another bump in the road, something you got to deal with. But you know, I'm going to prove myself and you know, just show them what I can do.
Absolutely. And speaking of what you can do, what makes you a unique quarterback?
You know, I have a different mindset than most guys, I would think. You know, I do let my emotions sometimes get the best of me sometimes, but you know, I think that's what makes me unique and what's making me a great competitor. But Memphis has got a great quarterback that's going to be in there, and you know, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it here as well. We got a lot of fans here rooting you on. You've been very classy all night. Congratulations, and we're looking forward to the competition.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, take care. Guys, back to you. Thanks, Zach.
And the thing you take out of that, right, is so often in life, it's like, okay, where were we picked, right? You know, he's invited here, and he had to sit up in the room for a long time. But what I know as a competitor is you just want a chance. It doesn't matter when you're picked. It doesn't matter if you're a free agent. I remember thinking that when I got to the NFL. I was like, I don't care where you put me. I don't care how many other quarterbacks. Just give me a legitimate chance to compete, and I will show you that I belong. And I think that's where Zach is right now, is that, hey, didn't quite go like he wanted tonight, but you got your opportunity. You're going to be competing against some other good young quarterbacks, but you're going to get an opportunity to prove that you belong on that football field.
And he understands the value of a rep. There's 4 quarterbacks on these rosters, 3 when they cut down. Every rep matters. Every rep counts, and he understands that more than anybody because he's been in the big show where that's a reality that hits you in the face all the time. I have to show everything I have in 5 reps today. That's hard to do.
2 of the biggest names when we came on the air tonight, Christian Hackenberg and Zach Mettenberger. I don't think any of us expected that they would end up on the same team now, battling each other out. And they were the 2nd and the 4th round picks. And then a couple of guys like Troy Cook on the roster as well, Brandon Silvers. Mike Singletary, he's got an interesting situation in front of him because he has a little bit of everything when you're talking about a young guy, experience, running quarterback, got a couple of big arms now. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
I played under Coach Singletary when he was at the 49ers, and it's not every day's a competition, it's every moment's a competition. Yeah. It's a competition who gets the turkey in the food line first. Everything is competition. I think he's building his roster that way.
But I tell you what, I love the point that you made about every rep mattering because you know, some guys that can crush certain guys where you go in and go, man, I'm only going to get 3 reps today. I got to make every one count. And sometimes it can crush you because you try too hard. So there is something to the fact that, hey, I'm going to get 3 to be able to settle in and play your best football in those 3 reps.
First opportunity for all these guys. There are going to be 3 mini camps coming up in the month of December. Salt Lake, the 3rd pick of this 4th round. Their selection is in with Randy Mueller and Dennis Erickson. And here's Heinz Ward.
And with the 3rd pick of the 4th round, Salt Lake selects Matt Linehan.
Matt Linehan is Salt Lake in the 4th round. So it'll be interesting to see now what Linehan can do. 6'3", 220 out of Idaho.
The eye in the sky doesn't lie. The truth is in the tape. Put on Matt Linehan's tape. It's not just because his dad's a famous football guy. The guy can play. He can deal. He can pass. He can do the things you're looking. I remember throwing at a Monday night game with him when he was 14 years old, and he could pass back then. I mean, this guy is a passer. The Idaho roots with Coach Erickson, there's a lot of things that make sense here. But Matt Linehan has a chance. He's a productive guy. He's played a lot of football, knows a ton of football.
and don't you love that part of it? You talked about it all night, is an extension of the coaching staff, a guy that understands football when you're only going to get a few reps or you're only going to get a certain amount of time in training camp. And as you said, this guy's a classic pocket passer. You know, maybe not the most gifted thrower, but understands where to go with the football and when to go there with the football.
Billy Devaney, the GM, head coach Brad Childress. Atlanta's pick is in the 4th round, and here's Hines.
Go me. With the 4th pick of the 4th round, Atlanta selects Justin Holman.
Justin Holman out of UCF.
I figured this was coming. I mean, if you like arm strength, then watch this kid play. I mean, he throws fire. A lot of stuff to like here with Justin Holman, but a guy that has to work on some of the craft parts of the position, some of the things that maybe came naturally to Kurt Warner. This guy needs to work on them. He's in an environment now where he can work on them.
Yeah, and those things that you're talking about, get the ball out quick, seeing things fast. When it comes to throwing the ball down the field, no issue right there. But those little nuances, this will be a great system for him.
All right, let's meet the QB.
Y'all ready? All right. My name is Justin Holman. I went to the University of Central Florida, and I am 23 years old. I feel like there's no throw that I can't make. Sometimes it can get you into trouble. You take risks that you probably shouldn't take, but also when you take those risks, it results in rewards. I want to play in the Alliance because it gives me an opportunity to play football again, to strap up the helmet, be with a group of guys, and work towards the same goal, which is a championship. What I can bring to a team is leadership. You know you'll get a high character guy, somebody that's disciplined in detail. You know what you'll get out of Justin Holman when he steps on the field. Somebody that's not afraid to make mistakes and go out on the field and give everything he got.
He was the guy replaced by Mackenzie Milton, who's gone on. Obviously, just had a really awful injury, but Milton has been a star since, and he replaced Holman, but not before Holman really proved himself as a dual threat guy, almost 500 rushing yards in college.
There's really physically nothing he can't do, and all the craft things we talked about, the nuance things, are easily coachable. They're not hard fixes. I mean, the NFL will take a chance on a right tackle that has all the physical measurements and has all the athletic traits and say, okay, we'll develop him because of the great physical traits. The NFL doesn't do that with quarterbacks. They throw you out into the fire and say, okay, you just need to figure it out really quick. Well, the Alliance is going to let him figure it out. It's going to allow him to get around graduate level coaching to fix and hone some of these things that may allow him to become a passer because he's got all the physical giftedness you would want.
And not just the coaching. You got Aaron Murray, you got Matt Sims there as well. Two guys that have been there. And that's another neat element to this. If you're a young guy that hasn't played a lot, and now you're going to get a chance to be in the room with some guys that have been in pro-type atmospheres, a great chance for him to learn from those guys as well.
Jim is Tim Ruskell. That's David Reeves, the quarterback's coach. Steve Spurrier is the head coach. Couldn't be here tonight. And Orlando's pick is in. Here's Hines.
With the 5th pick of the 4th round, Orlando selects Kevin Anderson.
Kevin Anderson, guys, he was at the top of my list because alphabetically, but played at Fordham, Marshall. 3-year starter after transferring to Fordham. A school record 73 career touchdown passes. 3rd all-time in Fordham history with 7,663 passing yards.
Yeah, I thought this guy has a great feel for the game. Now, he's sometimes a loose cannon. His completion percentage isn't great, but you could just tell he was a winner. He was a guy that was going to go out and make plays for you every time out. He's just going to compete.
Knows how to complete the ball, knows how to play the position, lacks some of that fine-tuning.
Sure.
Maybe that's the easiest way to say it. That's exactly what this is for, is natural passer that can learn the fine-tuning aspect of it in the Alliance.
Okay, let's meet the QB.
My name's Kevin Anderson. I graduated from Fordham University. I'm 24 years old. I'd say my biggest strength as a quarterback is my ability to throw it downfield. If I had to pick a weakness, it would be consistency. So just being more consistent as a passer every day. The team that drafts me is going to get somebody who's going to go all out every single day. I'm a savage competitor. People would be surprised to know that I juggle. I can juggle. I'm excited about the Alliance because it's given me an opportunity where I can get back on the field. There's never been something like this, and in the off season, people won't have to watch bowling, they'll be able to watch football. No offense, I don't want to see that anymore.
Played 5 years in college, began at Marshall, went on to Fordham, 6'1", 213, 24 years of age. And again, Kevin Anderson, one of those guys that doesn't have the big name, but he's going to get a big opportunity.
Well, and the development part of it, that's what I love, is that it's hard to go in your backyard and throw or work out and think you're going to get better at this game. And I'll say it over and over again. That time that I went from Green Bay training camp back to the Rams training camp, I played more football through the Arena League and NFL Europe than any backup in the entire country. I got a chance to see the game through a lot of different environments and in a lot of different situational football. And that's what a lot of these guys need, is they need to grow up and learn situational quarterback play. This is going to be a great opportunity for them to do that.
And I like his self-awareness. I lack inconsistency. So the first time the coaching staff says, hey, do this so you can become more consistent, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to go do exactly what they told him to do.
Next pick is in here in the 4th round. It's the Arizona Hotshots. Rick Neuheisel, head coach. GM Phil Savage. Here's Heinz Ward.
With the 6th pick of the 4th round, Arizona selects Jack Hennigan.
Kurt and I were talking about Jack Hennigan earlier today, and what intrigues me is if Kyle Shanahan likes you, then there's something to you, because he's on that short list of great quarterback evaluators, guys that sees a diamond in the rough. He was with the 49ers in training camp. Jack Hennigan, there's some subtle nuance to for a big guy. He can move, he can play off platform. There's some stuff to like here.
I like guys that can see the game. Being a guy that wasn't the most mobile guy, the guys that can see it, understand where to go with it and get the football out quickly. Those are rare breeds when you have that kind of feel and can see it. Jack Hennigan can do that.
Getting some you would assume smart quarterbacks here in this 4th round. You got Fordham and now a kid from Dartmouth. So Neuheisel is going to like that. 2 more picks to go. Getting down to the end here, the Birmingham Iron and then the San Diego Fleet to close out this first ever Alliance of American Football quarterback draft. And Birmingham's final pick of the night is in. Let's go back to Heinz.
With the 7th pick of the 4th round, Birmingham selects Alex Torgerson.
Norwegian kid Alec Torgerson is going to get an opportunity with Tim Lewis and company in Birmingham. 3-year starter, another Ivy guy.
Yeah.
Man, 2-time Ivy League champion. So go with the smart guys late, and see what happens. What do you think here?
This was a guy that was athletic as well. A guy that could run. You could implement some of the RPOs and the zone reads if you wanted to. I felt he was extremely accurate, kind of what you would expect in that sort of league. In the Ivy League is right. A smart guy, knows where to go with the football. Maybe not the greatest athlete, but understands the game.
Let's meet Alec Torgerson.
Alec Torgerson, University of Pennsylvania, 23 years old. My favorite throw is 12-yard speed out on the sideline. There's something beautiful about the route. It has everything to do with timing and perfect execution. People would be surprised that I'm a dual citizen. My father is from Drammen, Norway. I cannot speak Norwegian. He didn't teach me, unfortunately. I've started interviewing for some jobs and talked to my family. They kind of thought I should just go all out one last year because you can work your entire life, but you only have a small window of opportunity to be able to pursue football. My greatest strength as a quarterback is my resiliency. You have to have the ability to bounce back.
He sets He said something interesting right there, and everyone faces it at one time. You have this one time, this little window to play. You may as well go after it. And you had to make that decision. Do I get on with life, or do I take that one final chance? It worked out for you.
Well, and the thing is I didn't know if I was going to get a second chance. You know, I was with Green Bay and got released after training camp, and you go back over that time that you were there and go, man, what could I have done differently? You know, and then you say, if I ever get another shot, I'm not going to let that happen again, and I'm not going to let that happen again. And I promise you, there's a number of guys that were here and that are getting drafted tonight that are saying, am I ever going to get that chance? Am I ever going to get that second opportunity? And if I do, I am going to be ready, and I'm not going to miss it like maybe I did the first time.
Because they're different. Like we said, they're not necessarily what they were, what they are now, and I think that's one of the themes of all these guys.
And if it doesn't work out, at least in 20 years, he can say, I gave it that. I used every bit of that window to try, and it's going to work out or it's not going to. All right, the final pick of the first ever quarterback draft in the Alliance of American Football is in. It's the San Diego Fleet. For the final time, we go down to Heinz Ward.
Yes. First of all, congratulations to all the players that got drafted. Welcome to the Alliance. We're glad to have you. And with the last and final pick of the 4th round, San Diego selects Alex Ross.
Alex Ross will be the final pick. And San Diego, they opened this night by taking Josh Johnson in the opening round, and they close it out by taking Alex Ross.
And we've poured a lot of perfume on Coach Martz, and he deserves all of it. But somebody we haven't mentioned is John Kitna, his OC. A great pro, one of our contemporaries, one of the greatest humans you'll ever meet, and a guy that's going to be a rock star coach in the NFL. This will springboard him into being one of those names that we're hearing about on Sunday in the NFL. And that's one of the bigger pictures of this league. We've talked about players. What about the coaching development? What about the ref development? What about all the auxiliary people that it takes to run an organization and put that product out that everybody loves? This is a league to develop them too. John Kitna will be one, I promise you, will be one of those guys that in a handful of years we're going to be talking about as a head coach in the National Football League.
Well, John Kitna, you have Michael Vick, who's going to be a coach too.
Another great one.
You talk about so many things that they're going to get an opportunity to learn. How about learning from guys that have been there and done it? Those guys are going to show them on a daily basis, what does it take to succeed at this level?
Jason is with San Diego head coach Mike Martz.
Coach Martz, congrats on a great draft. What was your strategy tonight with this draft?
Well, we just wanted to make sure the biggest issue for us is accuracy. You know, they come in all sizes and shapes and speed, but the most important thing is they're accurate, they're smart, and they're tough guys. And I think those guys give you the best chance. I think that's what we got.
Well, now you got 4 quarterbacks that you guys clearly like. There's going to be a competition in training camp. What are you looking for out of those 4 guys?
Well, the energy that they bring and how quickly they pick things up. And the most important thing is their decision-making, how they can speed things up and let that ball go.
All right. Do we have a question? Oh, do you think you drafted another Kurt Warner in this draft?
There's no other Kurt Warner. There's only one. I promise you that. But I was trying to talk him to donning the pads here and coming over on the weekends and playing for us, but he got rejected.
All right. Well, it was worth the try. You never know. But I think that's one of the great things about the Alliance. We don't know who the next guy is. There'll never be another Kurt Warner, but another guy's going to get his shot.
But, that's the greatest thing about this, the game of football and, of course, this league. Like Trent and Kurt have been talking about, it's a great opportunity for these guys to continue, and that's been lacking in football for quite some time.
Well, we're excited. Congrats on a great draft. We're looking forward to the season to kick off February 9th. It's coming up soon. Good luck. Guys, back to you.
And that will do it. 4 rounds. The inaugural Alliance of American Football Draft. I was looking for a word, and you helped me out tonight, Trent, what this really means for the sport of football. It was a significant, was the word you gave me, significant night for the sport, and these are the key dates. The rosters will be cut down to 52 players on January 30th. Opening weekend is 1 week after Super Bowl 53 on CBS. Mid-April, the regular season ends. End of April is championship weekend. As we tie a bow on this, start with you, Trent. What's your final takeaway from what has been a really fun and exciting night here in Las Vegas?
I've been in the league since 1994, the NFL, as a player, analyst, and deep in the weeds. And the one thing that's always lacked is the development of human capital in the football space. It's kind of been a production-based business, and that's okay. But the Alliance now allows us to develop that human capital in the football space. And it goes beyond quarterbacks, it goes beyond coaches, like we talked about. Refereeing needs to get better. This is an opportunity for refs to grow and develop. Field operations people, front office people, developing females in the coaching space. We finally have it, and the Bill Polling's been begging for it forever. And the dream has come true. And because Charlie Ebersol and Bill Poling and so many other great minds, and 475 years of football experience, the foundation has been laid for something incredibly special.
Yeah, and the other thing that you didn't mention is how about former players that want to get into coaching? The John Kitnas, the Michael Vick. I know Dre Bly and Oz Hakeem, guys that played with me, are going to be coaching with Mike Martz. And so a chance to develop on every single level. But I tell you, the big takeaway for me is opportunity. Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity is that for so long I was fortunate to play arena football. I was fortunate to play in NFL Europe, and then that disbanded. And I just thought to myself, how many guys are going to fall through the cracks because they didn't get the right opportunity in college, or they played at a small school, or they got that one opportunity and they weren't quite ready with that one opportunity, and it didn't mean they couldn't play. It just, you didn't know if they were going to get another shot because there was no chance for them to develop. And that, to me, is the big takeaway tonight, is all these guys have had one opportunity and they were just dying for another one. Zach Mettenberger, what did he say? 730 days. And I was just waiting. I waited for somebody to call and say, here's another opportunity. That's what these guys are getting through the Alliance.
74 days from the opening game. You've been watching the draft on the CBS Sports Network and AAF.com. Trent Dilfer, Kurt Warner, Dana Jacobson, and Jason Fisher. I'm Brent Stover. So long from Las Vegas, Nevada.